Hi there, you're watching our employability series, Let's Circle Back. I'm Lisa Huynh, Employment Coach at EmployAbility.
And I'm Gemma Smith, Head of People, Culture and Employment at SCIA. So today we're going to talk about understanding privacy and sensitivity, and at what point should an employee be disclosing that they do have a disability when they're either going through the recruitment process or during their employment. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, Lisa, is have you ever felt pressured to disclose information about your disability?
Yeah, so I've always been pretty open with my disability. I wouldn't say that I've got an example where I was pressured to disclose my disability, although after my injury, trying to return back to my previous job, it did feel like a bit of a mission. I knew my job and I knew that there wasn't anything that was physically demanding, but the questions that they were asking me were things like, could you stand up, could you bend, could you twist, could you lift? And it didn't feel relevant. So it just was a lot of back and forth for over 6 months, and I just, in the end, felt like they were trying to get rid of me.
That's such a shame, isn't it? Because, we work together, so I do know a bit about your background, and that role actually didn't require any of those types of duties. And I think that's really important for employers to remember that first things first is that the employee is under no obligation to actually share their disability. And this is where employers do need to create that framework where employees do feel safe, because ultimately what it means is that you can actually work around some really simple solutions to make the job accessible and to enable that person to perform the role to their very best ability. But for people with invisible disabilities, that the employee doesn't even need to actually disclose what their disability is. All that really needs to be talked about is adjustments that are required to do the role, and that's the information that really needs to be disclosed.
And just with that question, it just sounds a lot more supportive than just asking a yes or no question. Can you do this or can you do that? So the wording does play a big part in, making the employee feel supported.
And I think also just bearing in mind that information can be so sensitive that it's really important for the person who is disclosing the information to understand how that information is going to be used. Thanks for watching. Follow us on social media or visit our website employability.org.au.